Hello, everyone. Hello.
We're here.
Happy surprise live. It's Wednesday evening.
Normally, is it a surprise? People don't know.
Well, no, they kind of know. But
okay.
Normally we go live on Thursday, but tomorrow's Thanksgiving and we have plans. And
so does most everybody else.
Nicole's going to be here.
In this country, they have plans. In other countries, they probably don't.
Yes. So, anyways, we're going to go live tonight, and what are we talking about, Nicole?
We're talking about all the lessons we're thankful for, equestrian sayings, and coaches we're thankful for.
Yes. And we would love to hear from you about what you are thankful for this Thanksgiving season. It's always a good time to reflect and be grateful. Also, if you haven't checked it out, the link above or below this video, you can check out our winter riding program, which is only available this week. We've put together a great list of activities to keep you motivated and excited and making progress this winter. So if you haven't checked that out yet, it is available through Monday.
Yeah.
Yes. So what is our first topic, Nicole?
So our first topic is lessons learned that we're thankful for. So experiences or things like that with our horses that we're thankful that we have learned because they have served us well.
So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, from the lesson, there's just one that stands out that it was in the rain late at night. I mean, late. It was wintertime. So the sun had set, it's 5 or 6. And there was rain and lightning. And the rain is just hitting the roof, and it's just it's a lot of water, it's making a lot of noise, and the horse is obviously upset and distracted, and the rider's really concerned, and the clinician, he just kept with the work, and he just make it work, and 30 minutes later the horse looked amazing. And so it's the work. I mean, that was the take home from that, right? Like huge distractions. It's dark, it's windy, it's raining, the noise on the roof. Work your horse. There's no punishment. There's no corrections. Put your leg on and go, and it'll solve your problem, whatever it is.
We used to have, when I lived up north, even like way more north than I usually.
Because you're pretty north. I mean, you can see the Arctic Circle from your backyard, right?
Well, before when I lived even more north, and we did get lots and lots of snow during the winter, and we would have a similar problem with the rain, except it would be the snow sliding off the roof. So you'd be riding, and then the snow would start to melt, and it would go and slide and make this terrible streaky sound and then crash on the ground, and it would spook the horses. And you would never know when it would happen.
Right.
And that's exactly it. If you wanted to ride, you had to work through that and keep on it and get the horses used to the sound and the experience.
You keep them focused on the work, and then they're focused on the work and not everything else around them, because they're focused on the work because you work them.
And that's hard to do, like when you're scared and when your horse is scared, but the more that you can give them direction and give them a plan, then that's what gives them confidence.
And that was what was evident in that lesson.
Yeah.
Because the rider wasn't confident. The rider was nervous, but she trusted the clinician and did what the clinician said. And then boom, it just works out.
But Hinneman was always that way too. Like he was just, and that's kind of what was great about Hinneman, was he just didn't care. He was like, just do the work, just go to work, just do the transitions, shoulder in. And it wasn't like you were ever allowed to have an excuse of like, oh, but this is happening or that is happening. It was like, just do the work. And I do think that's something that we develop in ourselves and also in our horses, is the discipline, because there's always an excuse. There's always something happening. Like it's cold, it's windy, there's something happening next door.
It's sunny, it's cloudy. It's
one of the other ponies is being naughty.
Yeah, the horses left. The horses are coming into the arena. There's a motorcycle on the road.
But bottom line is our horses need to be on the aids and pay attention.
Do you want to go next or should I go next?
You go next.
Okay, mine is, so this is a story that actually happened to me, and it's something that I didn't really realize until I was much older and I was a coach myself. But when I was about 7 or so, and my sister was 5 years older than me, so she always got to school the naughty ponies and be really helpful at the barn. And I, of course, could not, because I was 7 and like learning how to post the trot and stuff. But I felt like left out, that I didn't get to help my coach the way my sister did. So what she used to do is she used to harrow the arena before my lessons. Not that I really needed that good harrowing because I was block trotting and learning how to steer. And she would make me, she said, it's your responsibility to make the track for the other students. Because at a lesson barn, you have a circle track and you have an outside track. And you've got to make your corners. And what she was doing was she was empowering me with something I could do. Like, all I could do was steer my horse and trot. Like, I didn't know how to train the horses. I didn't know how to school them through naughty things. I didn't know how to jump. I didn't know how to do anything, but I knew how to ride circles and shapes and things like that. And I think that's such an important lesson to take away as coaches, as well as trainers and riders, is we have to find the things that our students can do and that our horses can do that is within their capacity at that time and stage. And sometimes it's only making the track in the sand for the other students. And that gave me so much empowerment because I thought I was helping. Right? I'm sure I made my lines not great, but it's something that I always look for now as a coach and think about, like, okay, what can somebody do that is helping me while also empowering them?
That's a good story. I like that one.
Yeah, I felt very important at 7 years old. I got to make the tracks.
Okay, we were also talking about before we got on here is things that we have done with our horses in the winter. So if you have any good winter riding stories, let me know in the comments. We'd love to hear stories. But when I was in Colorado, I worked for Mindy Bauer for a winter. I froze the entire winter. I don't know how I survived because she didn't turn the heat on, and I would literally go to bed with my long underwear and my hoodie on and freeze to death. But it was beautiful. And I would go out riding in the moonlight, which was really fun. Like when it would be a full moon, I would take my horse Geronimo out in the pitch black. And then there were also a few times that we went out riding in the really deep snow, which was really fun. It's like, if you've ever done that and gotten to trot and canter through the deep snow drifts, it can be a really magical thing to ride in the snow. So those are some of my favorite winter memories.
Yeah. Oh, and Hannah's just saying, Stacy and I got to play horsey soccer yesterday.
I saw
in the
that.
rain. I used to do, when we, again, lived up in the snow in the middle of nowhere, we had this great big hay field. And when it was cold out, we had one of those big inflatable balls and we would toss it out into the field and we'd go galloping up to it and make the horses hit it with their legs
We
and play
should get
soccer
one of
in the
those.
field. It's
We
fun.
could take this
And the
one.
horses like it.
Oh
gosh.
yeah, no, it's good fun. And you couldn't really do it in the summertime because we were haying and doing stuff like that. But in this winter, it was fun to do it with the ball and to play. It gives them something to think about, and it helped with the steering and control and all that jazz.
I've been in Southern California since I was 3 years old.
I thought you said you.
I did. I taught a clinic. I went to Idaho and taught a clinic in the snow, and it was snowing. And it was snowing like you couldn't see but 10 feet. It was wild.
Yeah.
And they still got out there and did
And
it.
they did ride. And the snow is better than the rain.
Yeah.
It's dry.
You just have to make sure with the snow that they have the snow pads, like if they have shoes on. Otherwise, they get those big.
Oh,
balls.
the rocks and they're 'cause
Yeah.
it's like an ice ball. It's like a cube of ice they
Yeah.
because it's not snow
It
anymore.
packs in,
and then it becomes a rock.
yeah, and then it can be really like dangerous and bad for them. But I feel like winter. So every winter until like. It hasn't been that long ago, but seriously, every single winter, I used to think about quitting riding and getting like a real job or going back to school. Like this like deep depression would set in every single winter. And I remember I would like go online and think about applying to college again or going and getting a job like in a restaurant or something. And it can be really discouraging in the winter when you're not able to stay consistent and when your horse goes crazy and all of those things. And that's part of why we put together our winter riding program, is to give you like tools and tips and tricks that can help you for these miserable cold
Short days.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure, what is that, Jen from Chicago? I'm sure she feels that.
Yes.
But let's move on to sayings. Tell me, Amelia, what's one of your favorite sayings?
Oh, I cheated. I wrote them down. Well, I stole a few from Herman, so
Oh.
maybe because
Well,
you
these guys
have
already
the best
hear, they already
sayings.
hear all of my sayings because I use them all the time.
That
You
doesn't
have
count.
the best. Okay, so here's one This one is from Ray Hunt. So it's like a little bit more of like a natural horsemanship. And he would always say, observe, remember, and compare. And I think that's really important when you're riding, is that you're really observing what your horse is doing, observing what you're doing and what your body is doing. And then that you remember so you don't make the same mistake again. Because horses are creatures of habit. So like if they break out of the canter at letter C, they're going to do that next time you go past
Right.
the letter C.
You can train them to the spot.
Yeah. And so if you're able to like observe that and be like, okay, I remember that, I'm not going to let it happen again. And you can be more proactive to help your horse, then that's a good thing. And it's just the overall idea of being a mindful rider where you're like thinking and anticipating and trying to support your horse instead of being reactionary and just like fixing it after it's always a problem. So
I like that one. I don't think I've heard that one. Learn something new, which goes into mine. If you learn one thing, you're already ahead. And that's what my mom always says.
That is a fact.
When I go to a clinic or I listen to a lecture or webinar, because sometimes I go to these things and I'm like, oh, I didn't learn anything. Like, or I feel like it was just a review, or like I was, I'm like, oh, that I didn't get as much out of that as I thought it would be, or I didn't get my money's worth. And whenever I'm complaining to my mom, she always goes, did you learn one thing? And I go, well, maybe one thing. And she goes, then it's worth it. And I think that's a great expression to take away from lessons and shows especially. Like if you learn something about yourself and you can reflect on it, that's a really good one. So yeah. I've learned something here.
There we go.
what's your saying?
They go the way you ride them. And the
Hey, that's what I have on my list.
that's because you took it from me before we got to. And the reason that that's so important, right? Because the implication of it is that I'm responsible, right? And I can change me. And if I change me, then I change the nature of the relationship. So what you were saying, right? If I observe myself, right? If I see what I'm doing, then I know why that's happening. And so it's on me, and I have to look at my behavior, because if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. If I don't like what I'm getting, I need to change what I'm doing.
Yes. That's a life lesson there, right?
Horses are good that way.
Yeah.
Horses will teach you all you need to know about being a better you.
Yes.
They are our mirror. There's no question.
I know, I was thinking about that too, because I feel very grateful for all of the horses that I've had in my career and in my life. And you learn something different from all of them, because they all have different personalities and things that are hard for them and things that are easy for them. And there's definitely some horses that I had in my past that I wish I could go back and like do it over with them, now that I've learned so much more and that I have so much more experience. But I guess we all feel that way.
Yeah, that is a fact. Not too good to look back at the past like that and be all regretful.
Oh, but then you have to, what was the expression from Ray? It was observe,
remember, and compare.
There you go. You just have to do that long term going forward.
Oh, here's another good one from my Western people. Make the wrong thing difficult and the right thing easy. And I think that, like, I see that a lot with trailer loading, which we've talked about, is, if a horse doesn't want to go to the trailer, the mistake people make is they get them up to the trailer and they start like beating them and putting all this pressure. And then the horse freaks out and pulls away to the other end of the parking lot, and they let the horse rest. And so that's an example of you're making
the wrong thing.
Right. And that's always like in training, is rewarding your horse, taking the 8 off, like telling them they're good. If your horse understands what you want, then they'll do it for you. So if they're not doing what you want, it's because they don't understand it, or physically they're not able to do it. It's not that they're just like, I don't neener.
No. They're not malevolent by nature. If they were, we wouldn't have ridden. They're zebras, right? Zebras can't really be domesticated. They're not having it.
Yes.
Horses are a different thing.
Okay, we have some questions in the chat. Also, If you're watching live, please tell us what you're grateful for and your winter riding experiences. Jill says, how cold is too cold to ride?
There's a certain level with the humidity and the temperature that it's the same thing, like on the spectrum when it gets too hot to ride, but it's the opposite way. I can't remember exactly what it is.
They did neon lights on the horses' bastards.
Oh yes, that we did a light show.
Oh.
This
Oh.
Nicole helped me.
Yes.
So coming soon this holiday season, we put lights on Mercurio.
He's such a good boy.
He's such a good boy.
We're thankful for Mercurio.
Yes. And we rode him in the dark.
With lights on him.
And it was really cool.
Yeah.
So, and we had jingle bells on.
And he was so good. He was just like, it was
amazing.
daytime for him. He was a good boy.
He was really amazing. All the other horses were freaking out. They were like,
well, because there was bells too, wasn't there?
Yeah, and like walking him down to the arena, everyone was like,
yeah, you should have seen Harvey. Harvey was like having a panic attack.
Harvey was having an out of body experience.
Yeah, but we got battery powered Christmas lights, and then we also got track lights like for your kitchen, and those were super bright. So stay tuned for our YouTube channel. We will be releasing that video this winter sometime at an undisclosed time.
Christmas Day.
Hey, it was a secret.
Sorry, not Christmas Day.
Okay, what else is on my list?
Well, I've got one more favorite saying that I didn't have to say.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more of a farm saying than a horsey saying, but it's to put your man pants on. And this is something that was always told to me when I was about 16, 17 to the time I was about 22, because I'd be out on the farm and something would go awry. A rail would come down, a piece of machinery would break or something like that. And I'd go try and find like one of the guys on the farm to like fix it for me. And that didn't last very long. And basically I got told, you got to put your man pants on. You got to get it done yourself. Like you can't keep going and relying on somebody else to solve your problems. And on the farm, sometimes you can't go find somebody and like you've got horses in your hand or something like that. And you've got to get the job done. And that's really like taken me through a lot of difficult times in my life. And especially as like a single female, young female, I don't have a man that I can just call up. And when I was at Julie's the other day and the gate fell off, I almost called her mom to help me put it back on, but I thought he might make fun of me if I called him. So I was like, no, I can do this. I got put my man pants on, and I had a horse in the paddock, and I was like, well, I can fix it, and I fixed it all by myself. And so put your man pants on and get it done. Just do it.
Sometimes just do it.
Yeah, and Herman's grateful that I didn't call him at 6 p.m. Thursday night.
He would have come and saved you.
I would have. I mean, it's 10 minutes down the road.
I know. I did it myself, so it's good.
But I think
good.
that applies to riding too, which is when you are on your horse, like sometimes you have to just suck it up and ride through it, and you have to have that like in your ride, like your chicken, like I want to chicken out versus like being brave. And you have to just like squash your desire to want to chicken out and be like, I can do this. I'm going to ride through this, and be a little bit confident for your horse. And like, come on, we're doing this. This is our job. Like we're putting on our man pants, because if every time things get a little tricky and you like give up or quit, then your horse is like, oh, okay. That's
right. If you get small, then the horse gets large. You've got to be.
You have to put your man pants on.
Your man pants on.
I had never, and I probably won't ever say it like that in my life, because that's not going to work.
It might not be so good coming
from me.
Nicole and I could probably.
Yeah, you guys could say it, but I don't think I'm getting away with that.
All right. Well, who are some coaches we're thankful for?
Yes, let us know. Who's your like most memorable riding instructor?
Well, all mine are different for different reasons, but I'm grateful for all of them for a variety of reasons. Hilda gave me an opportunity to do so many things. We went to in-hand inspections. We went to the in-hand horse shows when they had those. I started horses for her. I did a bunch of stuff, and we traveled a lot. With Tom, I got to go to the Pan Ams because he had made the team. Albrecht taught me about my hands. Christina's helped me and told me that it's okay, through some of the emotional stuff that happens with the horses. Charlotte helped me grow up. I mean, there's just, all of them have helped me.
Yes, I agree. I think that it's kind of like all the horses in your life teach you something different. All the instructors in your life teach you something different. But it's also, you could never be where you are today if you don't have instructors or teachers that have been there before or have dealt with a horse like that before. And I think that's definitely true.
That lesson that I said where the clinician made, that was Albrecht.
Yeah.
They go the way you ride them. That was Albrecht. I mean, he just made a huge impact on how I am with horses.
Yeah.
And my horses are better for it.
Yeah. My first riding instructor, her name was Julie, and she was amazing because she's like really good at teaching kids. And so there was a whole group of kids my age that all grew up riding together. And I was terrible. I fell off all the time. All my friends were like cantering around on different horses, and I was not a good rider. But what Julie really taught us was the importance of like a work ethic and hard work, and how we all had to get our own horses ready. We all had to help each other. And the horses' care and welfare was like the number one most important thing. And I think that was really, really valuable. And then Julie was really good with me because I was so terrible that she really like built up my confidence and taught me step by step. Like I remember learning to canter. It wasn't just like go out there and figure it out. We had really good lesson horses, and we started on the lunge line and they put side reins on so the horse would be round and balanced. And then first you would get to canter holding on, and then you had to canter with only one hand. And then when you could canter without holding on, then you could canter off of the lunge line. And just like that step-by-step progression, she taught a lot of kids to ride. And many of the kids that I grew up riding with are still riders and like very good riders and professional riders. And so I don't really know what it was about her program, but it was really good in instilling like not only the skills that you need as a rider, but also the skills that you need as a professional to work hard and to take care of your horses.
That's good.
What about you?
I've had lots of good coaches and instructors, Amelia and Herman included. But the one that I wanted to highlight today, her name is Melanie White, and she I don't think she actually ever coached me, now that I'm thinking about it, because I came into her barn in my first year of university. I moved into the city. I had needed a place to board. I boarded at her place, and she had this school string, and I was 18 or 19 at the time. I came off of a referral. She didn't really know me, and basically she took me under her wing. I got like coaching certification under her mentorship. I learned how to clip horses. I got my first like pony schooling, like training rides and things like that. I got my first students through her program. She gave me all of these amazing experiences and opportunities, mentoring me as someone who wasn't in her program growing up. And I'm really, really thankful that she helped me through that. And oh my God, I'm going to cry, because it was things that I wouldn't have been able to do on my own. And I remember there was one time I had taken one of her Grand Prix mares to the show to groom for her and for the rider. And I had wrapped the horse's legs. And then the next day I came and I unwrapped, and I had bowed the horse's tendons, one of the tendons in the back legs. And I was beside myself, and I called her and left a voicemail because she didn't pick up. And I told the trainer, and I iced the leg. I was distraught because the horse was supposed to go into like a Grand Prix class, and like they were trying to sell the mare, and I was devastated. And I remember we brought her home, and I remember like talking to her, and she just gave me this big hug, and she said, "It's okay. You didn't put the boot on her and send her out into the ring, and you did exactly the right thing." And I just remember that kindness, and I'm going to cry. I always remember that kindness, because that was such a mistake and a dark spot in my history. I can't believe I did that to a horse. And she just took this moment to treat me with kindness, even though it was a really big deal for that horse in that class, and to miss it and to have that time off from the show season. And I'll always remember that kindness. And I try and take that into my teaching and my students as well, and understand that people make mistakes, and that how we react to that will influence how they become us horse people. Because I don't want anyone to think, oh my God, there's a mistake, I want to hide it, so that to push the horse through something that wouldn't be okay for them. So that is my
Tough lesson.
Very tough lesson, but I'm really, really grateful to Melanie that I learned it and that she had that kindness for me. So, that was my highlight.
I think that you do, like, the instructors, you learn so much about their values, and it is like horses and riding. It is all about life lessons and how you want to be as a person, and how you want to treat others, and how you want to treat your animals. And I think we've all made mistakes, like with our horses or with our students, and it's heartbreaking. It's like sad, and you wish you could take it back and do it over again, but you can't.
That is a fact. You just don't. You learn.
Yes.
Somebody had asked Carl Hester when he was in San Diego and did that one. Was that 3 years ago? Was it? And they'd asked him about a training technique that he doesn't use anymore, and he goes, "You learn things."
Yeah.
That's a good one.
We've all made mistakes with, our horses and in our life, and that's part of it. Part of it is learning from them and not making the same mistake twice.
It's observe, reflect, and remember. What is
Observe,
it?
remember, and compare.
There you go. Observe. I maybe should write that one down.
Yes. So, yeah, but I've had so many amazing instructors and amazing teachers, and I think a big one too that was pivotal was Larry Fleming, and he's the natural horsemanship guy that we went to with Geronimo. And what I learned from him was really understanding how horses think and how we interact with horses and how we actually train them. Because before that, I was always riding like school horses or trained horses, which is completely different than working with a young horse or a horse that is like confused or frustrated in the training. And that was invaluable to be able to understand how we actually interact with them, how we communicate with them, how to get rid of a bad habit, how to instill a better habit, and just how every moment that you spend with your horse on the ground, every interaction that you have with them, you're teaching them something. And at the time I was sad because I wanted to be like showing and winning dressage, but now in retrospect, I'm so grateful for that experience. And I think that's one thing with horses is it's always the hard times that you learn the most. And that, like, looking back, those are like what we're most grateful for. We haven't told any stories of like, oh, I went and I rode my horse and it was perfect and we had a beautiful ride, have we?
I had an instructor say, you only learn when you lose.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's martial arts, but
I think I'd still learn something if I won, though.
Yes.
Maybe.
So, anyways, Nicole's doing a live
Yes. So for
tomorrow night.
all of you who do not have turkey dinner tomorrow night, you can join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. Same place here.
Are you going to hack into my computer?
because your Thanksgiving's on a different day.
It is on a different day. So I'm hanging out with Levi, and we're going to do live from here. And we're talking about Amelia's community and the equestrian community and what things we're thankful for in regards to that. And then tune in on Friday morning, 11:45 a.m. Pacific time. We're doing a live from the barn. I'm so excited about this. We're doing
What day?
Friday. You're supposed to be there. So hopefully you can be there, Ramon. We're doing exercises we're thankful for, and we're going to have demonstrations of the exercises live because we're doing a live from the barn. So I'm really excited for that. And then on Monday at 5 p.m., we're doing the digital area and the learning platform and things that we're thankful for online and with technology, because that has really changed a lot with how we learn and how we can ride our horses and get help and things like that with video and all that. So we're excited about that. And yeah, it's going to be a good week.
And don't forget to check out our winter riding program, which has basically, Nicole helped me put the content together because Nicole's very organized.
And I also come from someplace that
It's cold.
It's very cold.
So there's a different plan for each type of winter day.
Yeah. So days when it's really snowy out, days when the footing is frozen, days when it's dark out, days when you can't even get out the driveway. And then, the one day it's perfect to ride, but your horse is a kite or
Yes.
is distracted. So there's a plan for every kind of day. And
we have you covered this winter because we don't want you to quit and give up riding
No,
or to
nobody
like
should give up
go
riding.
backwards. And I know that it can be really difficult in the winter. So thank you for being here.
I mean, we'll
Happy
see
Thanksgiving.
you. Well, she'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll see you on Friday, 11 a.m., 11:45 a.m. Pacific time.
All right. Good night.